right, welcome, 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 everybody. Welcome. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for coming today and joining in conversation, just sharing this safe, sacred space together. I'm telling you, it's one of my favorite things to do anymore. Thanks again for being here. Zenful Conversations podcast. My name is Zenjan Brown. I'm your host, and today we have Safire Rose with us. For those of you who don't know who Safire Rose is, she is the poet that wrote She Let Go, the poem She Let Go, that was wildly popular for a real long time. And I fell in love with that poem, as many people I know did as well. And I created women's retreats from that. And it was just great. And so we invited her on the show, and she wrote her book, Awakening, and she is back here now because we have a new book in the works, not even up for grabs yet, right? Rose Petals, Rose Petals, 108 Whispered Truths from the Soul of the Rose by Safire Rose. So, a warm welcome, please, to Safire Rose. Safire, thank you so much for being here. Welcome.
Thank you for having me. It's pretty fun. It's a,
Yeah, it's a pre-book launch party.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Thank you
Um,
for having me.
Yeah, I don't want to take up a lot of time with everybody, introducing everybody, but they are here to see you and talk to you. And I just thought if we could go around real quickly and say one word about how you feel about this book being celebrated. Um, and then throughout the conversation to hold some loving energy for the poet and for the book to help give it some more good energy. I'm going to tell you, when I first held this book, I feel the energy in it. I felt the energy in it. I couldn't even believe it. So let's, if we would, go around with one word about how you feel about this book being celebrated today. Um, and we'll start with Val.
Yeah, I have to tell you that this is the one thing I really hate about Zoom things, but I'm really thrilled to be here and I'm really thrilled that your book is coming out. So I can hardly wait to read it. All right.
Thank
You
you.
don't like being put on the spot, do you,
I'm
sweetheart?
an introvert, so but
Oh, okay. You want me to pass over you going
I really
forward?
celebrate your writing. So,
Thanks so much for being here, Valerie. I'm just teasing you.
okay.
Sammy.
Expectant, like looking forward to it.
Sweet. Lynette.
Congratulations.
Darlene.
I'm excited for you, and I can't wait to read it.
Patty Joy. You're on mute, sweetheart. I'm going to come right back to you, Patty Joy. It says Julie D.
Yes, well, I can't figure it out. It's my daughter. I don't know why I can't get it out of there and back to. I'm Maggie Rose sometimes, and my word is Rosie.
Ah,
Lucy.
wonderful, wonderful. Patty Joy, were you able to get that undone there?
Huh?
Yes,
I,
yes.
oh, there's
Oh,
Patty Joy.
it's very
Yeah,
great
thanks,
to meet
Maggie.
you. I did not know your books, and so I'm excited to find something good that's powerful. And the name Rose is perfect.
Wonderful. Okay. Karen.
So I had the pleasure of reading the book already. So I would say comforted.
Oh,
It's
Nice.
beautiful. It's like a best friend at the moment.
oh.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. T.
Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious.
Lynette, I didn't call on you, did I? I did. Okay. I mean, I have it all down here, but
You
let's
did.
see
I
here.
said congratulations. I'll say it again.
Oh, that's right. That's right. That's right.
Congratulations.
Congratulations. Linda.
I'm saying congratulations and
Oh.
bravo. I know that's probably a difficult process to publish things, so yay.
Thank you.
Cool. Thanks so much. Christy.
Happy.
Review. And I think Darlene, right? We need Darlene yet? Or you already came on too. So Holly and Lisa, are you able to come on? Okay, I don't want to leave anybody out, but I don't want to force anyone either. Oh, there you go, Holly. Great. Thank you. What's your word, please?
Magical. And congratulations, Sapphire. Hi.
Thank you. Bye,
Great,
Helen.
great, great, great. Okay. Anybody else have anything they want to say? Okay. Thank you. All right, let's just drop into the breath for just a moment. I like to just take it in and breathe and feel, um, honestly, just feel the fingertips and feel the body come, feel your awareness coming back into the body just for a moment. I like to go all the way from the head, feeling around my eyes, just with awareness traveling through the body, not rapidly, just slowly, almost sometimes like a warm light or breath or whatever you want to visualize is kind of coming through the body, down from the crown of the head, through the face, into the shoulders. And as you do, let it relax. Maybe you can even notice the body wanting to take a deeper breath when we start to settle and soften. Allow that, should that be the case, but no forcing. Just let everything soften a little bit. Continue to let that go down through your belly, letting your belly be soft, feeling your root, feeling you're connected where you're sitting. Let your whole, where the contact where you're sitting, notice being seated. If your feet are on the floor, notice being grounded, and just feel your entire body and the space it takes up. And just fill it with breath. Fill it with thanks and fill it with love. All right, great. I'm gonna hand it right on over to Sapphire Rose. What do you want us to know here, young lady?
Well, thanks for coming, everybody. I really appreciate it. You may not know this, but you're sort of a select group of people because the book is not officially public yet. So, and later on, I'll give you the link so that you can take a peek at it. And if you would be so kind as to review it, that would be awesome on Amazon. Anyway, thank you so much for each of you being here. I appreciate all of your words that you have spoken. And I also appreciate the introvert because I'm very much an introvert and totally understand. So this book is an inspired book based on my love of roses, my love of my mother who passed away a couple years ago, and my love of presence. And so it's sort of a combination of my photography of roses and then sort of a message from the rose, and basically leading you through a journey back to yourself, a journey of connecting with presence, with nature, with what you love and what's important to you. This book is really I think the process actually is interesting about this book because I actually picked 108 roses that I had photographed. They were selected, when I sat with each rose. So I think it's really a collaborative work with the roses. So not only will you get to hear my words, but you'll get to experience the rose for itself, as you do in nature, right? As ever you come across a rose or a beautiful bird that you're listening to the song of, or maybe it's a body of water that you allow yourself to listen to. So it's that kind of a book.
I love it. I love it. I feel honored to have it, and I've already begun to put it into my yoga classes. Um, can you share a couple readings from the book?
Absolutely. Um, you know, I'm going to call in a couple people. Maybe you could just tell me a number between 1 and 108, and I will pick that piece and read it. So, Tammy, you want to start this off?
45.
45 it is. Return to yourself the truth. Now, I don't know if you can see my rose here, but this is the rose for the reading. What does it mean to be true to yourself? It means to come back to yourself, your values, your point of view, your trust. Trust what you know over the deceptive world of appearances. Be true to yourself. Come back to what you hold dear, even if it feels like others hold the key to your fate. Come back to yourself, even when you have forgotten that you have your own back. In that one moment, the moment of returning, you shift away from what the world tells you you should be and begin listening to the internal rhythm that reveals what you can be. This frees you to experience a truth you've never known, that you and the essence of you are quite enough. Be true to the inner calling of your heart.
Mm.
Any reflections on that from
Okay,
anybody?
I'm seeing that a couple of people are saying they cannot hear.
Oh, really?
Are you able to hear,
Can you hear me
Lynette,
now?
everybody?
You can hear me
Yeah.
now?
I could.
Should we read it again? Maybe I'll read it again, huh? How many people were able to hear it? A few. Okay.
I could hear, but I'd love you to read it again.
Okay, let's read it again.
Okay, great.
Return to yourself the truth. What does it mean to be true to yourself? It means to come back to yourself, your values, your point of view, your trust. Trust what you know over the deceptive world of appearances. Be true to yourself. Come back to what you hold dear, even if it feels like others hold the key to your fate. Come back to yourself, even when you have forgotten that you have your own back. In that one moment, the moment of returning, you shift away from what the world tells you you should be and begin listening to the internal rhythm that reveals what you can be. This frees you to experience a truth you've never known, that you and the essence of you are quite enough. Be true to the inner calling of your heart.
Mm, I like it.
Any one sentence reflections on that did it hit your heart? You want to move on? Okay. Darlene, would you pick a number between 1 and 108?
88.
88. That's a good number. Okay, the rose for that one is this picture. You can see it. It's sort of a collection of roses. Leftovers. When it comes to food, everyone loves a good leftover. Pizza, pasta, or pie. They're handy, quick, and a time saver. But few enjoy the recycled emotions, pent-up frustrations, and righteous arguments still spinning in our minds at the end of a workday. Those leftovers are better discarded. One way to release the day is to take inventory of what worked and what didn't work in your self-talk and in your interactions with others. Another way is to write down 3 things that you're grateful for. I completed a week-long project. I collaborated with a coworker. I meditated today. Then prepare for tomorrow by setting an intention to support your success. My intention is to take care of my own upset. Everyone loves a good leftover from the fridge, but nobody wants to carry the emotional leftovers from the day. Take what you need, give thanks for the rest, and bless the day ahead. Take stock of what you've got and discard the emotional leftovers of the day.
Mm. You want to do one more?
Yeah, Julie, you want to pick one?
Hi. I don't
Maggie.
respond. I'm Maggie, but that's how are
I'm
you
sorry,
to know
Maggie,
that?
that's known as Julie.
Yeah.
Julie is known as Maggie.
Yeah, I will someday find out how to change that thing. Anyway,
We know who you are.
my number is 24. I don't have the book, but I'm just picking my favorite number.
Of course. This is the beautiful rose from that. It's an orange.
Changed me. I don't know. I love it.
I did that for I did.
Okay, this one's entitled Do You, D-E-W, Do You. A yellow darling, its curling edges, reach out to explore new places. Beyond the parameters of what came before, step through the open door with curiosity and joy. Let the dew of morning caress and refresh the path ahead. Chart a new course. Do you. That's it.
Can we hear that one again, please?
Yes. Do you. A yellow darling, its curly edges reach out to explore new places. Beyond the parameters of what came before, step through the open door with curiosity and joy. Let the dew of morning caress and refresh the path ahead. Chart a new course.
Okay. Well, I mean, short of me saying, so how long have you been collecting these photos of these roses and such?
Yeah, at the beginning of the book, I tell a story about going to the Huntington Gardens in Los Angeles with my mother. And so I've been going to the Huntington and I like to go, like whenever I travel, I try to find the botanical gardens of that city. And I'll go there, and they often have a rose garden at the botanical gardens. So during the pandemic, my partner and I, we went there pretty much every weekend to the Huntington. It was sort of like a quiet place we could go and not run into a lot of people. People felt safe there. We were a large distance from each other, and I could really just sort of settle into myself. And so when I photographed the roses, to me, when I do that, it feels like I'm communing with them. You know, it's not like I'm over here and they're over there. It's more like we're together and taking up space in that photograph. So that's one of the places I went. I also went to a place. Well, I go to really a lot of botanical gardens throughout the year, and that's how I collect my rose photographs. So it really depends on where I'm traveling to. Another beautiful one is in Canada. Maybe some of you have heard of the Bouchard Garden there, and they have beautiful roses. So these roses from this collection are taken over actually several years of traveling to various botanical gardens. And I picked the ones that I thought that spoke to me, that I felt they were either very beautiful or unique in some fashion. They had, their own little message to give. So that's the
Wonderful.
backstory.
Does anybody have any questions they'd like to ask Sapphire? Um, I wanted to let you talk a little. What is it that you want everybody to know?
Yes. This is a book that brings you back to yourself. And I think particularly in the times that we're in, which there's lots of changes happening, in the outer world. And I think particularly during a time period like we're in now, it's important to continue to come back to yourself. Otherwise, you can kind of be tossed away by the external events that are occurring, or even your own thoughts about the events. They kind of stay with us, right? They're sort of sticky. So this book is meant to really, when you're feeling maybe a sense of distraction, or maybe even in the morning when you're wanting to center before you go out into the world, this is a great book you could pick a number like I did, or you could just read through it, page by page chronologically. So what I want you to know about this book, it's really a reflection of you. So no matter what you're going through, I think that as you read it, the combination of the rose and the words are going to bring you back to yourself. So not only is it something that I'm saying or the rose is saying, but it brings you back to your sacred heart, to your sacred soul, so that you have a message for yourself every time you read it. That's my hope. And I think that's the opportunity here.
You're a spiritual director. What is it that you what kind of space do you hold for people?
Yes, I have a background of being a spiritual practitioner, or some call it a minister. Basically, interspiritual is my way of being. So I draw from, and you'll see that in this book too, I draw from Buddhist thinking, I draw from Hindu thinking, I draw from the teachings of Jesus. But all along those it's the mystical branch, right? So whatever branch, you'll notice here there'll be lots of different readings that maybe tie into a particular spiritual expression, but the whole point is it's mystical. So the mystical aspect of every of the five major belief systems do bring you back to yourself, And I'm hoping also to, expose people to different ways of thinking. If you're in one lane, maybe this will help you expand into another lane. So yes, I'm also a teacher of many paths, because I believe that all those separate paths bring us back to the one path, which is our own awakening experience as we move through life. And I also have a practice of mindfulness on my own, and you'll see that in the readings. I might talk about mindfulness walk or something like that. I also practice Vipassana meditation and various kinds of meditation, and I also work with a mantra sometimes, and that might vary depending on what I'm experiencing in my life.
I've seen photos of you and Ram Dass.
Yeah.
Is that something you want to tell us about?
Sure. I have various, and you'll see this in this too. I'll refer to various spiritual teachers on my path that I've experienced, and he was certainly one of them. He passed away a few years ago. But what I love about Ram Dass is, he had a teaching, and in his early life, he was very articulate because he had that kind of mind. He could give very articulate lectures about the spiritual path. And then as he got older, many of you know he had a stroke, and he was confined to a wheelchair for a number of years. And what I appreciate about him is, although he could no longer go out into the world so much, he did allow people to come see him and spend time with him. And so I had many years of being able to do that, had the opportunity to do that. And what I loved about him is he was so transparent. So he's like, yes, there's this, and there's this, and now there's this, what he was experiencing. And so those are the kind of teachers that I appreciate, that talk about their own lives, their own issues, and then you can actually see what's going on with them, right? So yeah, I have Ram Dass holds a a dear place in my heart. I feel that he's an authentic teacher, and I appreciate him. And I
Yeah.
also had the opportunity to spend a lot of time, maybe not as much as with Ram Dass, but with Thich Nhat Hanh, the Vietnamese Buddhist monk. I had the good fortune of learning about him when he first started coming to the United States. And so I spent many retreats with him, personally doing walking meditation with him in his style, and
Oh my
just really
gosh,
had a
it must
personal experience.
it must have been an incredible
Yeah,
experience.
yeah. He's another one like just so transparent, because he would talk about mindfulness, but he didn't have to say a word because all you had to do is watch him walk, and you knew that he had embodied it, because the way he walked, it was kind of like he was floating above the ground because of his
Yeah.
embodiment of it.
Not idling. It would be a little bit challenging. First of all, I think not to idle a little bit, but just being in that energy in his presence,
Yeah.
hard to stay grounded, I would think a little bit there. And was like, ooh, so magical. What a cool couple experiences. Yeah, well, thanks, because that's the energy I felt in this book. I got it in the mail, and I'm like, I held it, and I'm telling you, I felt an energy from the book. And then it's really great. It's really great. Wow, thanks so much for sharing that with us. Does anybody have any questions they'd like to ask? Got polite people with us today.
What came first, the poems or the pictures?
That's a great question, darling. I would say that the roses were first, because I selected them. And then every day, I would pick, well, actually I did this in a fairly short time. So I might have done more than one a day, but yeah, the rose, I would sit with that particular rose and kind of get a sense of what it had to say to me. So yeah, the rose came first. And are you a writer, Darlene?
Yes.
So what I enjoyed about this process, and you could try it too, or any of you, because sometimes I'll have like a sentence as a prompt, because I use Natalie Goldberg's writing practice technique. But what was beautiful about this process was that the visual was the prompt to my writing. And I had never really gone by a visual prompt. I mean, I might see things in nature that might elicit an experience, and then I might write about it. But this was a little different because the rose itself became the prompt for the writing. So I encourage anybody to try it because it's kind of a fun experience. It was new for me. Great question.
Very good. Anybody else have anything they'd like to say? Any questions?
You mentioned being with your mother and seeing a rose. Did you want to say more about that?
Oh, that's a great question. Yeah, so my mother loved roses. So part of this book is sort of a tribute to her because of her love of roses, but also because I love roses. So, and you'll see in my preface, I talk about how I came to know my mother better by doing this book, because I could speak from the place of commonality instead of other experiences I may have had with my mother, right? We all have our experiences with our parents, and some of them we hold dear to our heart, and some experience we could just, let go of. So, and my mother was a very beautiful soul, in the way that she moved in the world, and the way she was with her plants. So I feel that when you read this, you also get the best of my mom in here too.
That's
Great
really
question.
interesting. It's really cool. Thank you. And thanks, Christy, for that. It's surprising to me how many times um, in these writing workshops that I facilitate, how much the relationship with the mother comes up. Um, it's definitely a relationship whether it's, it's just interesting. And there's so many varied ways that that conversation with yourself shows up, but it comes up often. Wonderful. Thank you. Anybody else?
Yeah, hi, I'm Maggie. Thank you. I'm Maggie. Sometimes I know who I am. Go back to who I am. Yeah, thank you so much. And I just this is so, I don't know, miraculous, synchronicity like or whatever. Because it's the mother thing. I belong to a group of crones and we introduce ourselves. I am Maggie, the daughter of Rose, the granddaughter of Rose, and Josephine, the mother of Julie Rose and Lori Rose. And we introduce ourselves that way. So you can see how many roses are in my life. My kayak is named the Yellow Rose. And my mother died in 1980, fairly, in her 60s. So I never got to flourish into a full adult relationship with her, really, but it's okay. The Day of the Dead this year, Los Dias de los Muertos, when I remember all my dead people,
Yes.
she just came to me, that mom, so strongly, and she has not left. And then at one of my gatherings at a book exchange, I found this book called Untie the Strong Woman. And it's about the aspects of Mary, Mother Mary. Guadalupe has roses all over her gown. So roses has just been like enveloping me since the beginning of the month. And then here to your title, your name, it's just, wow. I feel
powerful.
Like I've become a
gotta
rose
love it.
somehow,
Yeah.
And my mother is so close to me, and she's all connected with Guadalupe, who's like the last remnant of my Catholic life. I love the Virgin of Guadalupe, but I'm eclectic about the rest of it. Anyway, I'm going on, but I'm just amazed at the whole idea of the rose, and I'm loving your poems, and I can't wait to get the book when it's going to be available. And I just thank you for that. And I will continue on my rosy path, I guess.
Thank you, Maggie. Yeah, I appreciate what you're saying, because I feel very connected to my mother and Mother Earth, and also the mother of all things. And there's a book that you might enjoy along the rosy path called The Way of the Rose. It's by Clark Strand. And it's sort of a reinterpretation of the strand. I can't think of the name now. The prayer beads in
the rosary.
Yeah, the rosary. So it's sort of a reinterpretation of relating to the rosary in a different way. I think you might enjoy it.
What's the author's name?
The book is called The Way of the Rose,
and
it's by Clark Strand, Strand. Mm-hmm. Yeah. He writes it with his wife, and based on a sort of an apparition they experienced. So it's a very meaningful book. It goes back and forth between their two voices, and it's quite beautiful. And I have a long line of roses in my family too, so I appreciate you sharing that.
Beautiful. Thanks for that. Do you have another poem you'd like to share?
I'm thinking I want to now read one about my mom, which might be fun. I'll find it here. It's a little bit about my mom.
This book is due out on December 9th, actually, to the public.
Yes, and I'm going to, here's a link so that you can purchase it now if you'd like, and if you'd be willing to write a review on Amazon, that would be so helpful to me. So this is called, well, I had it and now it's gone. Called Liberty. And here's the beautiful roses from this piece.
Oh,
What page is that one?
It's on page 59 and it's called Liberty. My mother had impeccable taste in clothing. She always dressed to a T. I remember her once wearing a creamy pink sweater with a maroon and pink skirt. Everything matched perfectly. This rose is like my mother, a little old-fashioned with a touch of flair, easy on the eyes with a little surprise. I often made assumptions about my mother, and she would inevitably prove me wrong. She would weep at the drop of a hat, but she was all that and more. Is there someone in your life you've put in a box of your own making? You hold the key to liberty. Free them.
Oh, that's lovely. Yeah.
You could feel how the rose is speaking to you.
Yeah. Isn't that amazing? Yeah.
It really is. It really
Yeah.
is.
It's real.
Mm-hmm.
There's a hard copy of the book and a soft copy. The hard copy is on premium paper, so the roses are really beautiful, but it's also more pricey as a result of that.
Mm.
Oh,
And the
I didn't
paperback,
even realize that.
the paperback is nice as well. So, and
I
then
didn't realize there were.
on December 9th, also the ebook will come out. So, but if you could write a review, if you feel moved to, that would be awesome.
Amazon says it's coming out the 20th of November.
Okay.
You never know. That's the paper copy.
Okay.
That's pretty cool.
Well, you can purchase it now ahead of time with that
Yeah.
link, but it's actually not going to be isn't going to launch until December 9th.
Yeah.
Mine says it will be delivered by November 20th.
Yeah, it'll be delivered as soon as you order
Yeah.
it, a couple days after. Mhm.
Yeah, I got mine that way as well, but it's not being launched till the 9th of December. So
Yeah.
It'll be
It's cool.
very well read.
Thank you. Yeah, it's a little confusing. Like it's available now, but it hasn't, I haven't announced it to the world. So, but you can, the few of you here who now know about it can purchase it with this link. So I hope you enjoy it.
So
yeah.
just be
So-
in time for the Feast of the Virgin of Guadalupe, which is December 12th.
Ah, I love that. That's really interesting. I didn't know that. Thank you, Maggie. That's the date of the birthday. That's the birthday of my grandmother, December 12th. We're going to work all those relatives in here.
Well, yeah, that's what yeah, for sure.
Did you have a question?
Is there
Karen?
anything you wanted to say? Go ahead. Is anybody, Karen, did you have something you'd like to say? For sure. Go ahead.
I'm sorry, were you addressing me?
Yeah, I thought you might
No,
want
I
to say
just
something.
would love to thank Safire for writing such a beautiful book. I did get it, and I read through it all at once, but then when I realized when I was done with it, how I want to utilize this book is similar to what Safire was saying, that setting the intention at the beginning of the day, or if you have a question or a dilemma. I love books like this that you sit and contemplate that and then randomly open it to a page because it's always so perfect and right on. And even though you may not quite get it at a conscious level, it's like your subconscious and your higher self is like going, yeah, that's what we've been trying to tell you. Or that's where we're trying to direct you to focus, as you're working through this dilemma or this project or whatever. So it's actually been a lot of fun to work with in that way.
Thank you. I like what you said because, the process of writing this book was based on a lot of intuition and synchronicity too. So I think that's
Nice.
kind of woven through the pages.
Yep. Beautiful.
Definitely. Thanks so much. Yeah, I didn't know if you wanted to go into a little bit more of the meaning of your work, or if you wanted to talk about something to reflect on, or whatever. What would you like to do next, Sapphire?
Yeah, I think the book lends itself to really looking at, in a couple ways. One, maybe looking at a shadow aspect of yourself, um, maybe a part of you that you're uncomfortable with. It could be a personality, um, like a personality challenge, like some part of you that you always work with. For me, one of the things I always work with is my anger. So I it helps me to have tools ahead of time to know what to do if I notice that I'm irritated, or maybe I've overreacted to something. It helps to have tools ahead of the game to know what to do when you're feeling those things. So I think that's just something to reflect on. Like, do I have maybe a list of tools in my phone or something I do when I have a trigger? And I know that's like my special trigger, right? Like, I know when I feel a sense of anger that have been triggered in some way. And as we go through life, we're not always clear about what the trigger is, right? All of a sudden we find ourselves in that emotion and we're not exactly sure how we got there. And so one of the tools you can use in that moment is you could journal about it. But one of the things I like to do is to go out into nature because, and I think I even mentioned this in the book, it's really hard to stay angry when you're looking at a rose, or when you're or when you're hugging a tree, or when you're looking, in the case of Karen, who's also a beautiful author, when you're looking at a little insect on the ground, it's making its way across the sidewalk. Whatever way you can connect to life itself, right? The energy of life itself, whether it's through a tree or a rose or a little grasshopper. In fact, Christy and I were walking down the street the other day, and there was a grasshopper right in front of me. And before I knew it, I had accidentally touched it. It flipped over, and we're both like going like this, watching the grasshopper, like, oh no. It had flipped over, and what was beautiful about it, I couldn't really fix it. I had to kind of let it do its thing, right? And so it flipped over. It was struggling to come back up, and I was kind of trying to help it flip over, but it was kind of doing it better than me. And then the next thing you know, after I watched it, and I like to think that our awareness helped it to flip over, it flips over and it hops on its way, right? And these are just the beautiful moments of life that if you pay attention, and for me, that was like, okay, what is the grasshopper's message to me? Right? And in that moment, I felt like it was like, oh, it was telling me to take the next leap, like there was a great leap. And it was actually, that was what was fitting for my life in that moment. It was like a message. So I kind of digressed a bit, but not really. So if you're having a particular emotional trigger, I think going out into nature is a great thing. That might be something you list on your phone, like go outside, journal, go outside and connect with nature. And maybe just one other thing you could always do, and I know Zen Jen practices that in her life, is just come back to your breath, just the movement, breathing in and breathing out. And I actually have a piece about that, about breathing in the book. Just if you can, sometimes it's hard when we're triggered to sort of allow ourselves to consciously breathe. But I pretty much can guarantee if you write down 5 things that are self-care tools that you can do when you get into an emotional bind, that one of those in that particular moment will help you shift out of it. And so it's important to practice to see, like, okay, when I'm feeling this way, what's the quickest way to get back to center, and to be able to move forward? Or as my poem, She Let Go, would say, what's the quickest way I can let go and come back to a sense of myself, my true self? And so that would be a reflection, would be to really contemplate, maybe after this call, just writing down 5 things that have worked for you, or maybe 4, and create a new one, and write them down for yourself.
Yeah, I was gonna say sometimes it doesn't take that much to shift the energy, um and I'm surprised sometimes
Exactly.
just how simple something is. If I just ding my little brass bell one time, I'm
Yes.
like, I can feel a whole complete shift. And it's like just thinking to do it. But that's the practice. That's
Yes.
the practice. We are talking about rose petals, Sapphire Rose, newest collection due out December 9th. And you guys can get a sneak peek at it if you choose to. 108 whispered truths from the soul of the rose is what we're talking about here. Thank you. That is a real nice reflection. You actually keep that on your phone, is what you're saying?
I do, which is kind of a paradox because I try not to spend too much time on my phone. But when I'm up and about in the world and I get triggered, it is nice to have it on my phone, just as a really a self-care tool,
Yeah,
It,
system.
you might, another way to do it is just post it somewhere you'll see it, like in your mirror in your bathroom, 5 things. But sometimes if you're a mobile person, like most of us are these days, and in terms of being in the world, it's nice to have it on your phone sometimes.
A lot of things are triggering these days.
That's true.
A lot
Yeah,
of
you
things
never
are
know.
triggering.
It could be a
Yeah,
bumper sticker.
so
Be a bumper sticker. And there you are, right?
yeah, so
Um,
that okay, pick one. Okay, and you're resistant to pick any of them because you want to,
I know.
but pick one.
That's why for me, sometimes the physical energy of going outside is good for me because I'm very tactile. And so just that when I move my body out into another energetic, right, that sometimes helps me to calm down. And whereas I just stay in my head about it, that doesn't always work for me.
Yeah, I wasn't always like this with the breath, but I will say because I went through the therapy training for the yoga therapist and the breath, the body, the breath tightens up the body, the more tightens
Yes.
up the body, and then the mind starts to get crazy, and it's like this big old messy party going on. But it works the other way around too. If we just soften that breath, it begins to soften the body and soften the mind, and um, a lot there. But definitely, I do believe so. Okay, well, what would you like to share anything else, or share any more poetry, or
I I'd like
break it
to
open to
share.
community,
Oh, what were we saying?
or break it up to community? You can do any of those at any time.
Uh,
Thank you, T, for
yeah,
coming.
I think any
Yeah.
questions might be good right now if people have questions.
Does anybody have anything they'd like to say or any questions um, for Sapphire?
Anything about writing or anything that might be of interest to you.
I just want to say that I can connect to what you're saying because I'm always a person who used to get way too involved because I just like to help people to solve things. So sometimes I would get myself into this crazy situation. So what I practice doing when I find myself moving into stuff that's just not doesn't concern me, not my business necessarily, I say stop.
Mm,
That's my word. I'm like, stop. And then it's no, nope, nope, nope. Then I take myself out and look outside of the thing, so that then I just wait until maybe I should step in or maybe not step in. But I just remove myself and I get very still. And I make this a practice. And when I start overthinking, the same thing. I just nope, nope, and then I get very still and I disconnect. I disconnect. I just turn myself off, but I'm observing and paying attention. But this is a practice that I've developed since I've been retired. But I started doing it while I was working because I worked in the last 8 years of my work was very toxic. Loved my job, but the people were very toxic. So I began practicing it in that 8 years in order to survive. So I didn't quit and lose all my retirement and all that stuff. But I can connect, and I'm a introvert too. But I can go out and be in the world and interact with people. But I'd rather be in my space by myself with myself. I'm very happy with myself. I enjoy my company.
That says a lot, actually.
Yes, it does. Such a practice in itself there, girlfriend. Yeah, thanks for sharing that, Darlene. Miss Linda.
Hi, Sapphire.
Um,
I really like your work.
Thank you.
It's so meaningful and very good for people when they're, trying to like read something that's inspirational and moving. Now, my question is a functional question about writing. How and when do you feel your inspiration? Because I feel like for myself, I've written about 70 poems and it's been about 10 years ago. And I read those poems and I think, oh, these are pretty good poems. I, for the life of me, cannot find that person who wrote those poems anymore. And I'm not sure why or where she went. I mean, I still write, but poetry just will not come. And I've been in Jen's workshops many times with the prompts, and I found that very frustrating because I tend to feel inspired first thing in the morning. They'll come to my mind, the words drop into my head, I write them down, and then I tweak them, and then that's done. So I'm just curious how you find your inspiration and where your actual words come from within your self.
That's a really great question, sort of a multi-layered question, actually.
Mhm.
Well, one thing that I do that helps me is I have a practice of writing, and I do use the practice sort of that Natalie Goldberg uses in her Writing Down the Bones book. But why I say that because she has a phrase where she says not good and not bad. And sometimes, I don't know, maybe you've had this experience too. It's a little bit of what you're saying here is if I try to write a poem, it doesn't usually work.
Yes.
And so what I have to allow myself to do is write what is wanting to be written. And then surprisingly, that could turn into a poem. But I don't try to do it ahead of time. I try to just let myself write is what is on my heart in that moment. So I might use she has a deck of cards. Natalie Goldberg has a deck of cards you can get a writing prompt from. So, the way she works is you use the writing prompt but then you go anywhere for 10 minutes. And then you come back later, not while you're writing, after you've written, you come back later and maybe do the editorial aspect of life. Completely separate. So one thing for me would be not to categorize the writing before you write it. That might help you in terms of getting a variety of writing just on the paper, right? That's what we want, right? We want it on the paper. And then another thing that might help you about that is just go using that phrase, not good, not bad, not, being really allowing yourself to write before you judge it as something you do want or you don't want. It's not a poem, it's this. I wanted to write a poem. And also, I think over time, what I've allowed myself to do also is to, I do prose poems, which are sort of like they're lyrical, but they may not be as, what we consider traditionally a poem, the rhyming and that kind of thing. So I've kind of allowed myself to be a little bit more fluid around it because maybe you're like this too. When words come out of me, they're generally in sort of a lyrical fashion. That's just the way that it comes through me, And so I allow myself to do that, even if it feels like it's an essay, because I do various kinds of writing, but if I
Yeah.
call it, it looks, oh, this is just an essay, or whatever. I allow myself to be lyrical in a less essay too, because I might write it. It may come out as an essay, but then when I go back to edit it, well, you know what? It might come. It might come. It's like Michelangelo's piece, right? It just comes out of the sculpture, right? The sculpture
Yeah.
part comes out of the stone, right? That's what you want to do. So maybe you've written this thing down. You don't really know if it's a poem, it's an essay, or what it is, but you could maybe play with it a little bit and see what it wants to become. And as much as you can bring that energy to it, instead of a top down, I want it, you know what I mean? If we can get that energy out of it and really free ourselves to write from the heart, then whether you call it a poem or an essay or, whatever it is, mostly what you're trying to do, I think, Linda, is maybe all of us, just connect with your heart and say what's on your heart.
Okay. That was very helpful. And I think I'm going to start to do that maybe in a journal or something like that, because I feel like words come to me.
Yes.
And they are words, and they're good words,
Yes.
and no judgment. But then somehow I just feel like, oh, that's not going to be anything. Don't.
Yep.
I hate to say waste your time, but
Yep.
And then those are probably missed opportunities.
Yes. The mind gets in there and then it's all over, right? The judgments, right?
Yeah.
This doesn't feel good enough. I wanted to do this and I wanted,
this is not making sense.
Yeah,
Why
this
am
is
I
not making
thinking about
sense. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you so
You're
much.
welcome. Yeah. Another
Yeah.
thing that's helpful for writers, I found, and this is Natalie Goldberg's ideas, as things come to my mind, I write them down. Just a list on the back of whatever notebook I'm working in.
Yeah.
So if I have an idea, like if I'm out in the world and I have, or like with the grasshopper, right? That's a great example. I might want to write about that experience, right? So maybe that day I'll just put in my notebook, write about the grasshopper. So just so I remember these, because this is why I'm saying this. As much as you can come back to the experience of why you wrote that down, I might take a couple notes like, oh, the day the grasshopper was this way, and then you can you can go back to that experience, and then when you write it, people can actually feel that you are in the experience that you had with that grasshopper. So it's good to write down things that happen in your life and then come back to it later, because then you'll have enough information there and the experience of it to write from that place.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Awesome. All right, let's see here. I think what I'll do is ask you if you have any final words or a final poem, Safire, that you'd like to share,
Yeah, maybe
or both.
yeah, I'll start with a quick poem and then I'll say a couple things. This is number 3 in the book. This is It's Beautiful Rose. It's a pink rose. Slow down. Slow down. Let yourself take root where you are. How can you enjoy what is beneath your feet and above your head? How can you touch to the left and touch to the right into the beauty that is all around you? Slow down and let the light catch you. Slow down and let love find you. Choose one thing at a time. Feel the sublime. Slow down, my friend. Slow down. Life awaits you.
Beautiful, beautiful. Amen to that. Yeah, I've already got that one dog-eared. That one's folded
The dog
down.
ears.
Awesome. Awesome. Thank you for that.
I just wanted to thank each person for coming, because when we come together like this, whether it's, remotely or in person, you change the configuration of what happens when we're together. So I know that each of you brought something today that allowed me to pick the perfect readings from this book and to allow me to expand in my consciousness. I thank you for that. And I truly hope you have a moment to purchase the book and write a review, because you experience what we all experienced today. And so it'll be reflected in your review. Thank you for that. And
Yeah, for sure.
Zinjin, I hope you enjoy her programs, because she has a beautiful consciousness, and I always enjoy speaking with you, Zinjin.
Oh, you're so sweet. Rose Petals is the book we're talking about. Rose Petals by Safire Rose, 108 Whispered Truths from the Soul of the Rose. And I'd like to just, I want to just say, I want to do a heart-centered blessing. May this book fill the hearts that needs to reach. May it bring insight, comfort, joy, and inspiration. May it awaken courage, love, and creativity in those who read it. And may your journey, Safire, may your journey be celebrated, supported, and blessed every step of the way. Thank you for bringing this to us today. May it be so. May it be so. I'm going to ask if anybody has any intentions they'd like to offer up, and then we'll just we can order this through the link that was on there. You can connect with Safire Rose. What is your website, please?
Safire-rose.com.
Safire-rose.com. Does
can send
anybody
me an
have any
email.
words of intentions or love that you want to say as we sign off here? Just raise your hand or unmute. A well wish for the road.
I just want to thank you very much and thank everybody. And I got this image of actually a wilting rose because it happens. And I thought, oh, that's a whole nother wonderful aspect of, aging, and I'm kind of in that wilting phase. I'm not in my full bloom. And it's that rose metaphor can just go on and on. So I thought, and first I thought, oh, how sad and wilting, but it isn't. It's just the cycle of a rose, and it's my cycle, and it's accepting it, and blah blah blah.
Oh, so no, you never blah blah.
I just want to say it just opened up a whole nother range of looking at roses and life.
I love that.
I just want to thank you. It was beautiful, and continue your journey, continue sharing your words, because they all come to us in a different way, and they're just so beautiful. So, and you are too. Very beautiful.
Thank you for that.
Wonderful. Anybody else? Okay, great. Thank you so much, Safire. So that's sapphire-rose.com. And the book is Rose Petals, 108 Whispered Truths from the Soul of the Rose. And as far as the rose aging, I think the colors get richer and deeper as they get a little age on them.
Yes.
I
agree.
So we're good there. We're good there. All right. Much success, much love. And thank you so much for sharing with us.
Thank you.
Namaste, everyone.
Thank you. Take care,
Thank you.
everyone.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.